All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. The first WNBA regular season video opening weekend is done. We had the first full 4 days of basketball this past weekend. I just want to give some quick thoughts, some overview thoughts, some quick hits, some things I like, some things I didn't like. So if you like what I've said, like the video, if you have any opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. We're basically just going to cover the last 96 hours of the 2026 WNBA season. Do some quick hits. I have no notes. I just have lots of thoughts. and I guess we'll just jump right into it. I hope you guys have been enjoying this little background I have with all the teams in the closest team to each state. I stole that from somebody. I believe it was for free on like Google or Reddit. I forget which one it was, but I really like it. I hope you guys like it. And obviously, we have the topics of the what I want to talk about in this video in front of you. So let's just jump right into it. First game. Well, we had opening day, which was Friday, May 8th. Connecticut versus New York, Washington versus Toronto, Golden State versus Seattle. Um, the two really good ones were Washington versus Toronto and Golden State versus Seattle. Both those games were pretty interesting. I watched a little bit of Golden State versus Seattle. It was okay enough. New York versus Connecticut was a bit of a snore fest. Connecticut did not get off to the hot start they wanted for the sunset season. New York, though, put belt to butt, as I like to say. And then we get to the actual opening day where all the primetime matchups are. May 9th, Dallas versus Indiana, Phoenix versus Las Vegas on ring night, Atlanta versus Minnesota, Chicago versus Portland. Let's start at Dallas versus Indiana in Indiana. The return for Caitlin Clark to, I guess, the WNBA. She was out for a majority of last season. Obviously, had the debut of the number one pick, AZ Fudd, bottom right of your screen. And for the first time in WNBA history, we had four number one picks playing on the same day on two different teams playing each other, which was amazing. Obviously, you go back, it's Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, and then Paige Becker's AZ Fudd. All of the last four number one picks playing in one game. And I I was rooting for. I guess I wasn't rooting for anybody. I just wanted some good basketball. But if I had to root for somebody, I was probably rooting for the Fever because my girl Leah Boston, love her. She had a really good game. But I do have thoughts, and the main thought I had about this game was the refereeing in this game. It was so weird, and I might be like a little biased, and I might be like a little overreactionary to this because I'm coming off of watching um, NBA postseason basketball, playoff basketball, and obviously this is the first game of the season for both these teams, and the refs, this is their first game refereeing these games, for the season with the new rules and stuff. The new rules being like they want to clean up the game a little bit, no more push offs, no more like tugging and grabbing people and like all the stuff that is unnecessary in the game. And I thought the refereeing was just eh. It was eh. It slowed the game down. I understand what they're trying to do by cleaning it up. I really do, and it's needed because the game. You don't want the game to be dangerous for anybody, whether that be the offensive player or the defensive player. But I feel like they could have rolled it back, and I hope by month 2 or 3 of this season, um, they roll it back like about like 10 or 15% because this game was horrendous, especially for the wings. They were both on the receiving and the giving end of getting favorable calls, but there was just a bunch of flopping from the Dallas Wings players. In particular, if I could find her name, I have this pulled up right now. Let me pull up this actual box score here. Especially by what's her name? Isaiah James flopping all over the place, and they were supposed to crack down on flopping. Um, it just wasn't a pleasant watch. I'll put it that way. Like it was an interesting game to see, obviously because it's the first one with like the prime time names and the prime time players on both teams. But it just felt like a sludge. And by the end of it, I was literally tired. I was just like, this. I hope I don't have to watch this every night for this for this season. And I fear that it might be the case. Um, just do better. Like relax, like guys. Like I understand the the thought process and cleaning the game up and everything, but that doesn't mean we need a stoppage like every 3 minutes. You don't need to go to the monitor every 4 minutes. We don't need to like send both teams back to their benches and cut to commercial and then come back and no, let's just play the game. Just play the game. And the other thing of note from this game in particular, I almost said series game, was I'm gonna have to be hard on one of my favorite players, and one of the players I really enjoy watching is Caitlin Clark. I have some serious questions about Caitlin Clark. One game overreaction, of course, but I have a real. This is a question, Caitlin. What were you doing all off season? What was going on? Because you don't look any better. It's year three. Is it? Yeah, it's year three, right? Yeah, year three. Yeah, right. I'm not bugging, right? It's year three. It's year three, Caitlin. It's time to yeah, it's year three. It's time to go up a level. How old is she? Wait, let's see. Let me see how old she is. Hold on. 24. Yeah, it's time to go up a level. Um, she did not look comfortable this whole game, and she didn't look like she was in the flow. She went back to the locker room a couple times in the second half. She didn't look like she was 100% healthy, and everybody thought coming off that long extended break for herself personally, not playing a lick of playoff basketball when the Fever were in the playoffs, to not playing in any off-season league, not playing in Unrivaled, not playing in Athletes United or Ultimate Athletes or whatever the other league is. Just focusing on her body and her health. Played a little bit of USA basketball a couple months previous to the start of the season, and I thought she looked fine there. And then you pop up on, was this, May 9th, and she looked like the exact same player. And this is something that I didn't think was possible, that she would be the same player, because I thought maybe she would have learned a thing or two, maybe added something to her game. Uh, it hasn't materialized. The passes still look not great, even though she has the IQ to see the pass. She can't make the pass. The shooting, we need to reel the shooting in. I know you want to shoot those deep, like 30-foot threes. I need to see Caitlin Clark, and this is more towards the coaching staff. I need to see Caitlin Clark coming off pin downs, coming off screens, being an off-ball player. Because if the Indiana Fever are gonna use Kelsey Mitchell as their primary ball handler to bring up the ball and create and get downhill and get to the paint and be the force, you need Caitlin Clark to move around and not just stand around um, when she doesn't have the ball. And it makes it so much harder for her to get comfortable when she has to take these awkward shots, when she has to just roll up the floor, you know, 4 or 5 dribbles, take one dribble past the half court line, shoot a 30-footer, and it doesn't go in. Like, I know she can make that shot. I know she can. But that shouldn't be your first option to go to. You should really, and the coaching staff should really look to get her involved in different ways. Because on the opposite end, what the Dallas Wings did is they used Paige Becker's off ball a lot. They made Paige look better. They got her easy shots, and it's such a discrepancy, especially to me. And this is a reaction again to the first game that they both played. Is that the Wings have a rookie head coach, first time coaching women's professional basketball in the States, right? And on the other side, for the Fever, you have Stephanie White, a very accomplished WNBA coach. And Stephanie White got outcoached. I don't know how it's possible. I don't know. It was a close game. I mean, the Indiana Fever only lost the game 107 to 104. So it was a close game. But there were times where Dallas just went on runs and they looked incredible. And the only time the game would stop was when, like I said earlier, when the refs would go to the monitor, the refs would send both teams back to the benches and go to commercial and review something. That's the only time there ever breaks in this game. And I'm growing very concerned that maybe Stephanie White isn't the coach for the Fever, because along with Caitlin Clark not being comfortable and being put in positions to get comfortable shots, there weren't a lot of moments for Aaliyah Boston, who is coming off a great season last season in phenomenal shape this year. There weren't a lot of opportunities for her. There weren't a lot of opportunities for Sophie Cunningham. There weren't a lot of opportunities for Lexi Hull. And the offense just, it looked the same. And the roster, I don't want to say the roster is significantly worse, but the roster is about mediocre and what they had last year. So if you're going to run the same thing that you did last year in the hopes that Caitlin Clark can be healthy, and that's your acquisition essentially, I don't, and and Caitlin Clark isn't healthy, let's say, then I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know where this team goes. They were missing Monique Billings, their actual offseason acquisition. Um, it, I just didn't like the way the Fever played. It felt icky, and the pace of the game felt icky, and they got ran circles around by the Dallas Wings. Legitimate circles in a team with a rookie coach, with a brand new team essentially with some remaining pieces, and they just they the Fever had brief moments where they looked all right. They looked good enough. They looked like they did last year at the beginning of the season, right? But we go look at the competition around the league. The Fever might be falling behind in we'll say the arms race, right? They might be falling behind, and it's a tad bit disappointing to see that because there were moments where I would like to see Aaliyah Boston be the number one. I have made it very clear on this channel. I'm not the biggest Kelsey Mitchell fan. I think Kelsey Mitchell gets away with far too much defensively when Caitlin Clark gets chastised for, when other players get chastised for, and Coach Stephanie White just lets Kelsey Mitchell by, gives her a free pass. I think everybody needs to be bought into the same system, and everybody needs to be bought in with the same defensive and offensive philosophies. And if those philosophies are going to continue to give the same results, Coach Stephanie White might not be the coach for this team. And I think it's a major overreaction, but it's something we need to think about. We definitely need to think about because these other teams are coming, or they're here, or they're returning. It's not great. Turning to the Dallas Wings side, again, huge props to Coach Fernandez winning his first WNBA game as a head coach. Um, the offense looked marginally better, like supremely marginally better um, than it did last year with Coach. What was it, Koklanis? Yeah, it looked better. I like the way they were using Paige, like I said, off ball a little bit, bringing her towards the ball, trying to get the switch without Paige having to work for it, using the screens. The refs did screw over all of their bigs, essentially, that being Alana Smith, Lee Yaru, um, everybody, everybody that wasn't that was a guard and wasn't a big got screwed. So that's kind of what made the game close. I'm still very worried that Alana Smith, their offseason acquisition, might not be able to duplicate what she did in her Defensive Player of the Year um, season last year. That's a tad bit concerning. I'm semi concerned about some of the people around Paige, that being like, let's see who we got here. Um, I'm not concerned about Odyssey Sims or Enrique. They both had a really good game. Jess Shepard, kind of almost had a triple double, but kind of mm, 5 fouls, not great. Let's see. Yeah, I listed everybody. Alicia Clark, just okay enough. 3 points in 4 minutes. That's 1-3. Um, but the main thing I'm worried about, and what I'm trying to set up here, my long convoluted way of setting it up is AZ Fudd, number one pick. Didn't start this game. Didn't start. And ended the game 18 minutes, 3 points. That is not great. That's not a great start to your WNBA career. You get the win in your first WNBA career, but you don't contribute to it. You got an A on the group project when you did nothing. Um, there have been many a think pieces and many a thing that have been said about AZ in the past hours after this game and the whole weekend. She was not the only top five pick not to start. I want to make that very clear. There's other top five picks that didn't start. There's only a couple that started. I mean, the rookies that started, Gabriela Jaquez and Olivia Miles are the only ones who started. Did Flage start? I don't know if Flage started. I don't think she started, but she's not the only one. I'm not trying to single her out, but I am singling her out in this conversation of um, maybe I don't want to say that. How do I want to say this? If you're gonna take her with the number one pick, and I've hammered this home, you should have done your homework a little bit more. I've said from day one, I said it early in my draft process of this draft, is that AZ Fudd isn't this crazy off ball shooter that she's in college. The closeouts come faster. The defenders are longer. The defenders take pride in what they do. This is how these women make their money. Some of these players, that's their prerogative, is to play defense, and that's how they make their money. That's how they feed their family. You doing your cute little, like, oh, she's got a fast jumper. That stuff's not gonna cut it. It's not gonna cut it. Um, I've said her to me, her ceiling is Allie Quigley, and that's it. That's it, and that is not somebody I would have drafted with the number one pick. Um, the the counter to that is she fits the system more. If you wanted to take Fam or Betts, they don't fit the system. You don't understand what Coach Fernandez is trying to do with the system. I understand what Coach Fernandez is trying to do, and I commend him for doing it. I just think AZ Fudd maybe wasn't ready, even though the tape might have deceived you that she was ready. Um, will she start this season? Yes. At some point, yeah. They're gonna shoehorn her in when it's an easy matchup. Sure, she doesn't have a ton of pressure on her. You're facing a playoff team from last year when you weren't a playoff team. You wanted to run your best five out there, and they did run their best five out there. The Dallas Wings did. Paige Beckers, Odyssey Sims, Enrique Gumbawale, um, Elena Smith, Jessica Shepard, all played great. All would have played great if they weren't in foul trouble as well. I did see the vision for what Coach Fernandez wanted to do, and my hats are off to him. And just to end this part of the video, refs, you gotta line it up. Bring it back like 10-15%. Bring it back like 10-15%. Also, actually, no. The real last thing, those last two possessions for the Fever. If you guys watched this game, what the hell was that? That was the other thing that made me mad about Coach Stephanie White. What the hell was that? Two deep threes. Like, I understand you need a three, but there needs to be some more creativity with her offensive sets and her actions, because they just did. They made me sick to my stomach. Sick to my stomach. Um, shall we move on to something different, some more lighthearted topics here? Well, this one's not lighthearted. um, the Phoenix Mercury and the Las Vegas Aces had a rematch of the finals for opening night, um, and it didn't go well for the Las Vegas Aces. Las Vegas Aces lost the game 66 to the Phoenix Mercury's 99. This game was over by like the first quarter. I don't know if everybody was hungover on the Aces. I don't know if everybody just thought, oh, it's the first game. Who cares? Um, if this is gonna be the same shit from last year, I'm not mentally prepared to be an Aces fan. I can't take another season of that. In game two, just to preface, after they lost to Phoenix, they absolutely destroyed the Sparks. The Aces did. Um, I don't want to lament the fact that the Aces lost their season opener. I hate when any team loses their ring night championship um, night game. I hate that. It makes me feel bad for their team. It makes me feel bad for their fans. But I do want to talk about something that was actually positive. I want to talk about their rings right in the middle of the screen right there. Obviously, you can see it says Aces. It has the three championship trophies in the ring. But you might be asking yourself, why does this ring look so different? Why does it look so like demure, so tiny, so dainty? Well, if you go online, and I will try to explain it to you, you know how like championship rings are usually like these big, bulky, like round or square, rings. The Aces have that, but this ring is inside that other ring, so they have two rings essentially. You can't wear the other one if you have this piece of it out, but I just thought that was awesome. It looks great. I think it looks great. Um, and everybody was so excited to see it. And I just wanted to reminisce on the championship season that was last season one more time before we dive into the depths of hell of another Aces season. So yeah, that's just some eye candy there for you guys. The championship rings look awesome. Three-time champs and back for more. Get it? Back for more. Going for the fourth championship. Yeah, I'm so funny. Ha ha ha. Um, Now onto some more lighthearted things, some more fun things. Speaking of some more rookies, bottom left of your screen, Olivia Miles has been sensational. She has only played one WNBA game thus far, and she played awesome. I have to sort of walk back some of my statements that I said about her in the draft. I didn't think she would be this WNBA ready. And they played a really close game versus the Atlanta Dream, who have championship aspirations. So, for using that measuring yardstick in comparison to the other people in this draft as well, because Olivia Miles is going to be compared to her draft mates. Um, she impressed the hell out of me, and I'm not sure the Lynx will have the best season, but I think it's beautiful for Olivia Miles that she ended up in this situation. That if they win, it's going to be great. If they lose, it's not a big deal. The Lynx aren't competing this year. Let's be honest. Um, but congrats to Olivia Miles. Looked great. Proved me wrong. Proved a lot of people wrong. Um, her just her speed, her passing, everything that you heard in the draft process, and some things that I was skeptical of. She did, and she did show some other things that were also in her draft, profile that like she's not the best defender, some other little things, but she impressed me, and it was a hell of a game one for her. So I'll be very excited to see if she can keep putting the pedal to the metal. The next thing I want to talk about is the Golden State Valkyries and the hot start they are off to with their offseason acquisition of Gabby Williams, top left of your screen. Um, Another thing that I was wrong about. I really wanted to make a video of like the top teams for next year in the WNBA this year, next year. Um, I didn't have enough time to do it, and I thought about it, and I was like, the WNBA is always a little wacky. I don't want to look back on a video that I made like spur of the moment very quickly, not doing research on it, and look stupid. So I didn't make that video. But if I did make that video, I would have had the Valkyries low, not super low, but low. Um, I didn't think they made a lot of great offseason acquisitions. Gabby Williams being the most notable one and the best one, which I praised them for, but the other stuff around it, I don't know if I loved. They traded away Flau'jae Johnson for a player they eventually waived. Um, that wasn't great. And a lot of the offseason stuff really just didn't sit well with me, and I would have had them very low. But Coach Natalie Nasake um, continues to prove me wrong. Their defense is palpable, it's visible, and it's terrifying. Their offense goes up and down. It's a little wishy washy. They take a lot of threes, but they play the right way, and I think that's the most important thing. Is you wanna continue to have these building blocks up until what the ultimate goal is to win the championship. Will they win the championship this year? No. Are they gonna be a pain in the ass for everybody in the regular season and the playoffs? Yes. And that is something that they didn't have last year. They had the makings of it last year, but they didn't really have it. Now they have it, and yeah, that's really my whole spiel about the Valkyries. Just blowing the doors off the expectations already. So we'll see what happens there. And then lastly, something that's been bothering me and bothering a lot of WNBA fans. Middle of your screen, former number two overall pick Cam Brink, um, getting like sidelined a little bit by the Sparks, and the Sparks are not off to the greatest start of their season. Sparks fans are not happy, and Sparks fans are not happy not just because they're not winning, but because Cam Brink is just getting yanked around in the rotation. Um, Cam Brink's biggest, how do I say this, biggest plus, biggest positive is that her defense, right? She's a really great defender. She was a really great defender in college at Stanford. She's been really great at other places she's played in USA basketball, 3-on-3, unrivaled 3-on-3, many other places, right? And she just can't seem to get used to WNBA officiating. And this dates back to last year and even the year previous to that, and even the small sample size we had of her rookie year. Um, she didn't she didn't adjust well, and the coach is just yanking her around. And Sparks fans are saying if you aren't going to play her, if you aren't going to do anything with her, just trade her because it's just not worth it. And the things that I've heard from Sparks fans is like this fake um, competitive era that they're in with Kelsey Plum and Neka Gumake and uh, Dearica Hamby isn't going to end well. And I was initially inclined to disagree because I like Kelsey Plum. I'm kind of biased towards Kelsey Plum, if I'm being honest. I'm not the biggest Dearica Hamby fan. I like NECA well enough. I had to rank number 2 on my top 50 players coming into this season. So I have a very high opinion of two of their best players, two of their like 3 best players, right? But I see where they're coming from. And this is a matter of sort of there isn't enough time for Cam to develop. And coach wants to keep her job. And how does a coach keep her job? You win. And when you don't win and you don't play your uh, potential star big in Cam Brink, and you don't let her learn and you don't let her experience things and you don't let her get used to the officiating, then everything looks bad. And you kind of duplicate what happened last season, in which you missed the playoffs by like 2, 3 games. And I don't know what is worse, a team that's fake competing and ends up in that same situation, or a team that knows that they're going to have to wait for their potential future star big in Cam Brink to get better. Um, the Sparks obviously want to compete right now, and I'm not 100% that that's the most positive thing for Cam Brink. And I think the world of Cam Brink. Cam Brink is everything I want in a big. Can shoot the 3 ball, play really good defense, move their feet, not scared to guard a guard or a small forward or anything like that. Moves well in transition, not great but well enough. And I think she's been sold the short end of the stick. And I was most disturbed by how she didn't even start. She didn't even start. They started a really small lineup against the Aces. The Sparks did. It was who was it? It was Plum, Burrell, NECA, Hamby, and somebody else. Yeah, it was somebody. I forget who the third or fourth person was. It might have been their other offseason acquisition. And yeah, I don't recall the full lineup, but they ran very small and they got absolutely decimated. And I'm not saying if Kimbrink starts guarding Asia Wilson, she would do anything, but you at least have to give her that opportunity to to try, because that's how you learn through this process, Um, and I think as a player that has been so limited in their time on an actual basketball court because of injury, because of whether it be like a major injury or like a knick-knack injury, you need to play. And I said this about Caitlin Clark too. I don't care what they do. I don't care about the numbers. I just care that they're healthy and they're playing. Because you play, you learn, you gain experience. When you gain experience, you can keep building on that. When you keep building on that, ties into somebody on the screen. You could turn into a Gabby Williams, where Gabby got jerked around a bunch in her early career. Jumped from this place to that place to this place to that place. Never really found a home. Really started cementing herself in Seattle and at a previous stop. And now she's a really good player. But you need to play. You need to learn. And I feel like, and it's not Cam's fault, but she needs to learn. She needs to go out there and play. And it just makes me really upset that there is this mood around the Sparks where they've gone from young team with a lot of assets to almost painting themselves in the box. And there's only one asset left, and it's Cam Brink. And Cam Brink might not be long for Los Angeles if the team decides, hey, we need to compete now. The number 2 pick, we don't care about that anymore. former #2 pick can't bring. So yeah, that's it. That's just some quick thoughts for you guys about opening weekend. Um, Nothing else really. I can't really think of anything else I wanted to say in this video. Um, yeah, we'll just keep it short, keep it sweet, 30 minutes. And I will keep you guys updated on WNBA stuff as much as I can. Um, the end screen should be playing right now. Check out the video on the left. It should be my top 50 players this season, just a preseason video that I did. I'm very proud of it. You can check that out. Check out my women's hoops playlist on the right. If you click my little icon right in the middle, a little subscribe button will pop up, and you can subscribe with ease. And I will see you all next time. Like and comment as well. Cheers.